السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. إخواني أخواتي، مرحبا بكم في حلقة جديدة اليوم. كما وعدناكم في القناة CCA اللي هي Community Channel in America، غادي نبقاو ديما نستضيفوا بعض الشخصيات ولا بعض الفاعلين ولا بعض الناس اللي يعني تيزودونا بالمعلومات اللي غتستافد منها الجالية. حلقة اليوم هي حلقة فريدة من النوع ديالها مع شخصية متميزة اللي غادي ناخذ منه بزاف المعلومات على المحيط السياسي في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية وخاصة في منطقة نيويورك. معنا اليوم State Senator Andrew.Gournandes. Mr. State Senator, it's great to have you with us tonight. How you doing?
Thanks, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Good. You are very welcome on our show, and you are very welcome on CCA channel, the community channel in America. First, I know you represent in your district. I know you are in District 22. Yeah, that's correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. I know you represent about 329,323 residents in District 22. And I know that your district is very, very diverse. And I can tell that the zip code that under your area, under your zoning, you have 11209, 11219, 11228, 11229, 11234, 1135. Honestly, it's a very diverse area. What you can tell us about this area? What's the challenges? What's the most thing? What's the priorities that you have done for this area, Mr. Senator?
Thank you. And you're right. It is a very, very diverse district. I represent about 330,000 people, all the way from Bay Ridge to Marine Park, across southern Brooklyn. A lot of those neighborhoods, made up of different people from different backgrounds, whether they're Arabic or Chinese or Russian or Greek or Italian or Irish or you name it, really have a very, very great diversity in our district. And, I think it's interesting to be in this position because, a lot of our communities and a lot of our neighborhoods have different needs, and depending on where you are and what part of the district or which community you're talking to, but also a lot of us share the same needs, regardless of where we come from or what our ethnicity is or what our zip code is. I think everyone in our district really cares about keeping the public schools in our districts very strong. We have some very, very good public schools in our district. The state Senate and the state legislature passes the budget that funds our public schools. We all are affected by the quality of our subways and buses through the MTA. That's something that the state legislature has direct oversight over. I was very proud that 2 years ago, I secured funding for 3 new elevators at subway stations in our district. People in our neighborhood care about the healthcare system, our hospital system. That's all funded and regulated by the state and by the state legislature. So no matter what issues we talk about or what the priorities are, there's always a connection back to the work that we do up in the state legislature or back that I do up in Albany. And I think communities face a lot of those same needs.
Let me, that's very important. You brought that, that point, what you guys do in Albany. I want to start with your job description because this channel, this TV is most likely is about knowledge, information, educating people. I would like you to describe your job and your duties in Albany and on which point that you guys represent people in Albany.
Yeah, so my job is to represent our neighborhood and all the communities that are in my district up in the state Senate, up in the state legislature. And that means a bunch of different things. It means we go to Albany and we propose laws and we pass laws that affect our lives here on a daily basis, whether it's traffic laws or workplace protection laws or labor laws or you name it. We pass laws that affect everyone's life across the city and across the state. Second thing we do that's just as important is we vote on the state budget. The New York state budget is $180 billion for the entire state. That's a lot of money. And we have a direct say and direct impact input into how that budget gets allocated, what programs get funded, what initiatives get funded, what departments get funded, projects, etc. And that's really one of the biggest responsibilities that we have. And the third thing I think that a state senator has to do is really be active in the community and be out in the community, meeting with different people, talking to different people, hearing from different people, partnering with different community organizations, and just making sure that you're present so that you are never caught off guard, so you don't know what's going on. You know, I try to spend a lot of my time talking to community leaders, calling people on the phone, knocking on their doors, chatting with them, asking what's going on the block, what's going on in the neighborhood, what issues they're seeing, what problems they have, how my office can help. And that lets me help them, but also lets me think about ways that we can help a lot of people at once by realizing where there are new trends, where there are growing problems, and figure out how we can address them before they become even bigger.
Wow, it's a big job. I mean, you have to be on the run the whole day, and you have to take care of those 329,000 people under your district. So honestly, it's a very, it's a big commitment to the community, and it's big commitment to yourself also. You know, to take care of those people, you got to take care of their needs. You got to see what their demand, you got to see what their concerns. So honestly speaking, you know, you're doing a great job. Now we're going to start a few questions. As you know now, everybody, the big issue right now is COVID-19. And I was reading a few days ago that in your district, there is some type of a big spike. There is a big rise of the new cases of COVID-19. Some of your areas, they were yellow. Some of your areas, they were orange. And can you tell us exactly what's going on? And I know you've been doing a great job during the COVID since it started. Can you bring us very close to what's going on exactly? Because there is a lot of fear going on outside over there. And what you up to, and what you guys have done in your district 22.
Great. As we all know, this virus is very scary, and it's really changed our daily lives in so many ways. Everybody we know either knows someone who got sick, knows someone who passed away, or knows someone that lost their job because of the virus, and it's really affected everyone in our community. What we have done over the last 7 months in my office specifically is we turned our office into a COVID recovery center. And so starting from April on, we, from April until the end of August, beginning of September, we served about 50,000 families food out of my office on a weekly basis, partnering with the World Central Kitchen and the International Rescue Committee, which is a group that helps support refugees across the United States. And we also partner with other community organizations across there, all of Brooklyn, mostly Southern Brooklyn, to make sure that we were getting food into the hands of people who simply could not put a meal on their table. People who lost their jobs, people who were not eligible for unemployment, people who got delayed unemployment and didn't, were waiting weeks and weeks and months for unemployment check. They still need to put food on the table. So we did everything we could to help them. We also helped about 1,500 people in my office get their unemployment benefits, because many people out there know the system was just not ready to handle so many applications at once, and people were waiting weeks and weeks and months. So we helped them get their unemployment benefits.
Okay.
And then as we started to transition, we wanted to help our small business community and really help our businesses get back on their feet, which has been incredibly important, especially for the many immigrant-owned businesses here in Southern Brooklyn that have really struggled because of this economic shutdown.
Good. Mr. Senator, I know you're running again for the second term in your district, and if you win, I wish you all the best on November 3rd. Okay.
Thank you.
Do you have any special plan for COVID-19 in your district, or you're just gonna continue doing what you're doing? Especially now the situation with the parents, it's very tough, because a lot of parents, they have to work from home, and at the same time They have to watch the kids doing their school from home also, and it's very, very difficult for them to manage the both situations, being a worker and being a mother, or being a father and being a teacher. What you make out of this? I mean, what's your point on these things?
Yeah, well, there's a lot we have to do, and a lot of it is both. You know, I think of it as two things. Number one, we have to keep focus on the ground to make sure that we're helping people in the neighborhood, helping businesses, helping families navigate all of the challenges that they have right now due to COVID. And the second thing we have to do is we have to start planning for the long-term recovery of our communities. That means figuring out where we need to be investing our resources to help us rebuild and recover, where we need to be investing to help small businesses open up and to thrive, what we can be doing to address the inequities and the inequalities in our school system. Many of the students in our district still don't have access to the internet, don't have Wi-Fi, they don't have computers or tablets. They had to wait for some from the Department of Education. You know, those are still big gaps that we need to fix. We need to fix a way for our childcare system because, like you said, a lot of parents who are working from home are both working and also taking care of their children and also acting as their children's teacher. That's not sustainable. So we need to pass laws to help support the childcare system here in our community, in our state. And that's all going to take a lot of long work and a lot of long time planning. So once we get past this election, I'm really eager to get busy and start working on that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. State Senator. I want to go to another question, and this question is about the young voters. Are you guys, how are you guys trying to push the young voters to go out and vote? Because I have some numbers over here. You know, I'm very surprised. You know, but before we talk about the numbers, what do you guys done any programs for the young voters, or are you guys being out? Motivating these young kids in your department in your district to go out and vote?
Yeah, we're certainly trying. You know, the 18 to 25-year-olds are millennials are the second largest voting bloc in the country, and you know they have enormous political power, and a lot of them are now becoming energized and activated and engaged in the political process, and they're recognizing just how much political power they have. They have very strong beliefs about things like good government, the environment, the healthcare system, the economy, jobs, college costs, and they're being very active and vocal about those concerns. And so since I got elected, I've worked very hard to reach out to younger voters, first-time voters. We've registered hundreds of voters in my office. I've gone to schools, I've gone to churches and mosques and synagogues to talk to their young adult groups and their young leader programs. And I've really tried to listen to them and hear what concerns they have and then act on them. And my thinking or my belief is that if you talk to a young voter about what they care about, let's say the environment, and then you show them all the things you are doing or that you plan to do to help on the environment, then they're going to make them much more willing to come out and vote and support you. So that's really what I've been trying to do. We do have a lot of young voters in our district. In this election alone, we are seeing a lot of first-time young voters come out, which has been very, very exciting and very positive to see.
But State Senator, let me give you some numbers. All right, I'm going to give you some data that I get regarding the registered voters in your district.
Yeah.
As of 2018, you won the election. You got 33,507 votes, and versus 32,236. So that's give us a total of 65,804 votes. But the question is, you have in your district 172,624 registered voters. I mean, if you look at the number, not even 50% of the registered voters went out to vote. What that tell you? I mean, what's your analysis? What's your explanation to this?
It's very hard. This is not just a problem here. It's a problem across the country. In a presidential election like we're going through right now, we might hit 50% of people who actually show up to vote. It's a problem of voter apathy. It affects every age bracket and every group. It's not just limited to one group of people. So this is a problem that we're facing across the country. I think a lot of people get frustrated by government, and they get frustrated by how long things can take sometimes. I think that some people don't find candidates or politicians that they believe in. And that's frustrating and that's disappointing. And I understand why. Because not everyone is always looking out for the best interests of their community. In my district right now for this presidential election, we estimate that somewhere between 80 and 100,000 people will come out to vote. That's what we're planning for. That would be a good presidential turnout for us. Many people also registered they haven't voted in 10, 20, 30 years, and they just will not come out to vote at all, which is very, very frustrating.
I understand that. I understand this situation, but should we call it, is it a political reluctance?
I think there's a lot of different reasons why people don't vote. A lot of it is people don't care, unfortunately. A lot of people are disgusted by politics because all they see are negative attack ads and they don't feel like anything ever changes, which is, very, very unfortunate. A lot of people feel that they're overwhelmed by the choices. It's confusing. They don't know where to vote. They're not here. They move. They don't change their registration. There's a lot of different factors why we don't have 100% turnout. It's also not required. Some countries and some other states, they have mandatory voting laws. New York does not. And so a lot of people think that by not voting, they are making a political statement to say that I don't support any of these candidates. And so some people choose to withhold their voice as a political statement in and of itself.
Thank you, Mr. State Senator. I want to go back to your District 22. And I know, like what I said in the beginning, the population in your district is about 329,323 residents. You have 56% white, you have 1% black, you have 13% Hispanic, and you have 27% Asian. And I know for facts you have a lot of Arabs in your district area, especially in Bay Ridge area, in Bensonhurst, in Bad Beach area. And what's your message tonight to the Arab voters?
Well, I think I've worked very, very closely with all of the different people in our district, but especially the Arab community, which was a huge part of the coalition that I built to win 2 years ago. I think we worked very well together. I have full-time staff in my office that speaks Arabic, that acts as a liaison to the community, is out in the community helping, engaging with people, talking with people. We've helped people in our office, even though we have very little control over it. We've done a lot of work to help people with immigration cases and help families, especially Arabic families, navigate government services and government resources. And I think the most important thing that I've been able to do in my time as the state senator, especially for the Arabic community, is to be their voice. There's a lot of things that affect the Arab community specifically, like when they were targeted by the Muslim ban, when their families were being separated and prevented from coming back together, when they are singled out for surveillance, and when they are affected in a lot of other different ways. And I've spoken out consistently, time and time again, in support of the community. I've spoken out and I fought back against whatever policies were coming down from Washington, or even sometimes even locally, to make sure that people in our neighborhood were not being unfairly targeted or discriminated against. I'm very proud that my office helped reunite 2 families from Yemen that were separated due to the illegal ban that Trump tried to place, the Muslim ban. I'm also very, very proud that my office organized the first ever free community interfaith iftar dinner in Owl's Head Park last year. We do Christmas celebrations, we do St. Patrick's Day parades, we do everything, but it was the first time that we ever had an event for the whole community that was organized by a political office to help celebrate a very important Muslim holiday. And I was very proud of that, and I look forward to being able to do that again. I think it's making sure that we do everything we can to have the community feel welcomed in this neighborhood, and to have everyone understand that it doesn't matter where you come from or what your background is, that if you live in this community, you are a part of this community, and you should not be treated differently, and you should not be discriminated against because of that. So I'm going to continue to work with the Arab community, continue to be a voice for them, continue to listen to them, and do everything I can to partner with them to make sure that we're helping elevate everybody in the community.
Can you just tell the Arab community how to reach you if they need something? I mean, what is your office located, and what type of, what type of help you provide if they need? I know you have to treat every community equal. I know you have to be fair with everybody, but the only issue, the Arab community, sometimes they don't know where to go. They need, I guess they need more workshops. I guess they need to see you guys, to see your faces more often. I know you go to the mosque. I know you go to the churches. I know you go to the synagogue. And when I talk about the Arabs, they are Muslims, they are Jews, and they are Christian. So where to go? I mean, if they need some type of help, how to reach to you?
So my office, I have 3 office locations in my district. My main office is on 5th Avenue and 81st Street, or between 80th and 81st Street. We are there 5 days a week from 10 o'clock until 6 o'clock every day. Our phone number is 718-238-6044. I do have a full-time Arabic speaker on my staff, so if you do not speak English well, you can still call the office and we can still help you. You can also email my office directly at Gournandes, GOUNARDES @nysenate.gov. I also have a part-time office in Bensonhurst on 18th Avenue and Bath Avenue at the Italian Federation Center 2 days a week. That is closed temporarily because of COVID. And I also have a part-time office at the Gerritsen Beach Library 2 days a week. That's also closed because of COVID. But you can find me on social media. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram, on Twitter, or just come by the office. And I also, like you said, I go out into the community quite often. I go to all of our community organizations. I go to the mosque very regularly, and I talk to people, and I make sure that I bring my staff with me there to help as well. So we don't have to wait for people to come to us. We can also come to you.
Thank you, State Senator. I want to talk about something. I mean, if I want to live somewhere or if I want to move somewhere, my main concerns are 3 things. You know, number 1, it's safety. And number 2 is jobs. And number 3 is education. I think we touch base on education, and you know, you're doing very good with the schools. Let's talk about safety, and let's talk about hate crimes. How does it looks like in your area? I know in Bay Ridge area, it's very safe, you know, and you guys been doing a great job with the law enforcement over there. And I know also for fact that you voted, I see something that you voted to support the law enforcement, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I'm the chairman of the Civil Service Committee and the Pensions Committee. So I work very closely with to help support all of our law enforcement officers, make sure that they get the benefits and the pensions and the salaries that they deserve, as well as the workplace protection. So that's a big part of my job responsibility in Albany.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the safety in District 22. How does it looks like right now? How is it?
I mean, we live in very, very safe neighborhoods. You know, we are not immune from crime. Crime happens everywhere. It's very unfortunate. But compared to the rest of the city, the precincts in my district, 68th precinct, 62nd precinct, 61st, 63rd, and a little bit of the 66th, are all very, very safe. Crime is still very, very low. The numbers of crimes are still very, very low. And that's because we have a great police department, and we have great police officers who understand our communities locally. And whenever we do have a problem, we all work together to try to address it and, you know, get to the root cause of the crime, of the problem, to stop it before it continues to spread. There's always going to be some element of crime somewhere, and our job is to make sure that we just minimize that at all costs. One of the things we do see, however, and this is unfortunately a growing trend, especially in the last year, but really the last couple of years, we have seen an unfortunate increase in the number of hate crimes and bias crimes. We have seen increased hate crimes against the Asian community all over Bensonhurst and Diker Heights and parts of Sunset Park. Just 2 days ago, we saw an anti-Semitic attack on a business in one of the Jewish-owned businesses in Midwood, Gravesend. And as we know here, especially here in Bay Ridge, we've unfortunately seen too many cases of bias crimes against people in the Arab community. 2 years ago, there was a woman on a bus who was assaulted because she was wearing a hijab. All of these are unacceptable, and all of these are not to be tolerated whatsoever. And I try to work very closely with the communities to make sure that we are addressing those crimes, that we identify and work with the NYPD Hate Crimes Bureau to catch those who commit those acts, but also to make sure that whatever we do, we are continuously speaking and spreading a message of tolerance and acceptance to everybody. Because I'm Greek American, my neighbor is from another country, my neighbor on the other side is from another country, my neighbor across the street from another country. We're all from somewhere else. We all have different backgrounds, yet we're all still living in the same community, and we need to act like it. And we will not tolerate or accept any type of hate crimes or bias crimes or discrimination in our neighborhood, not for anybody.
Good. I know let's move on to the process of voting right now, because I know we're in the process of early voting, and some people, they may voted already, some people, they may wait until November 3rd. So can you tell us what's going on exactly, and what happening out there about voting right now?
We have started early voting. Early voting started last weekend, and it goes through this Sunday, November 1st. It's the first time we've had early voting for a presidential election. It's very, very exciting. This helps us minimize the lines and the wait on election day. Every single day that I've been out there, we have seen record numbers of people come out to vote. There have been some lines at the beginning of the day, but by the end, there's not much of a long wait. And it's a great way for people to be able to vote whenever it's most convenient for them. If you are not able to vote early by this Sunday, you can, of course, vote on Election Day on Tuesday, November 3rd, from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. If you are online and you're waiting after the polls close, you are still allowed to vote. And you do not need an ID to bring with you when you go to vote. You have to be registered, but you do not need to bring your ID with you, which I know is a big concern because not everyone in our community has an ID or has a driver's license or has some type of government identification. So you do not need to be asked for ID. It is not the law. You can just show up with your name as long as you're registered to the appropriate polling location and cast your vote.
Thank you, Mr. State Senator. I know we are tight on time because I know you're busy. I don't want to hold you too much. Thank you for coming to our show and to our channel, CCA. Which is community channel in America. Mr. State Senator, the last thing, this is out of the subject. I'm going to give you 3 names, and I want you to describe them the way how you want it and the way how you feel about it. Okay, number 1, United States of America.
I mean, it's our home. It's our country. It's everything to us. It's the land of freedom and opportunity and promise, and it's the reason why my grandfather and my great-grandparents came to this country for that belief and that hope in what America offers.
Number 2, Greece.
That's my other home. That's where my family originated from. And, I'm very, very proud of my Greek heritage. I went to Greek school for 10 years. I grew up in a Greek church. I speak Greek. My Greek culture is important to me because I'm a 4th-generation Greek American. Making sure that I understand my culture and my heritage is my way of staying in touch with my roots. And even though I don't go back to Greece that often, I wish I can go back more. Being able to celebrate my culture here is my connection back to my grandparents and my great-grandparents when they left to come here.
Number 3 is Morocco.
Morocco, America's first friend, America's first best friend. The land that I have to go to visit one day, hopefully with you. And I've always enjoyed having a great relationship with our Moroccan community. I was so honored when the Moroccan American House Association gave me an award a couple of years ago. We've worked very closely together. We've worked hand in hand in partnership, and I'm very excited for the work we'll continue to do together, here in the neighborhood.
Mr. State Senator Gournandes, thank you very much for coming, and I wish you best of luck on November 3rd.
Thank you, Adil. Thank you.
Thank you. And I wish you all the best again.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night. اخواني اخواتي السلام عليكم. كيف ما شفتوا يعني اللقاء كان مع السيناتور ستيت سيناتور اندرو غورنانديز اللي خدينا منه معلومات كبيره على الانتخابات وخدينا منه معلومات كبيره على الاريا اللي كيمثل. The last thing I want to say, this channel is independent. We welcome Democrats and Republicans to introduce themselves to the community and deliver all messages that they want to the community. And good night, and I hope to see you soon. Good night.